With Black Ops 6 currently being free to play, and on top of it also having double XP and double weapon XP, I thought it would be the perfect time to give you the top 5 best class setups in the game to slay lobbies, level up, or just overall get better at the game. As always, if any of these setups do help you out in any sort of way, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, click that thumbs up button, and turn notifications on so you don't miss out on my future Black Ops 6 videos. With that being said, man, let's get into the first loadout. Now we're starting off with my current favorite weapon in all of Black Ops 6, the Cipher 091, which actually happens to be the new assault rifle in Season 2. This is a gunfighter build, so you're going to need 5 attachments, and I'll tell you what 3 attachments you can take off if you just want 5. So for starters, optional. This is one of the attachments you can take off. The optic. The iron sights aren't terrible, but I just don't think they're aligned. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like I'm able to land my shots so much better with an optic on, so that's why I have one on. I went with the Kepler Microflex. There's other great options, just my personal favorite one. For the muzzle, I had on the compensator. It just gives you a huge increase in vertical recoil control, helping you land more shots and overall be more accurate. And the more accurate you are, the more you're landing your shots, the better your gunfights are going to turn out. For the barrel, I had on the reinforced barrel, which gives me both damage range and bullet velocity, which is the absolute best, especially at those long range engagements where you're going to find yourself most times, since it is an assault rifle. For the underbarrel, I have on the vertical foregrip. This just gives us straight up horizontal recoil control. The muzzle gave us vertical. This gives us horizontal. That together, it just makes it have 0 recoil and an absolute laser beam. For the magazine, it's up to you if you want to do the 45 or the 60. I've been running the 60 recently, and this obviously just allows you to take out multiple enemies without having to reload at the cost of a little bit of aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed, which isn't too noticeable in my personal opinion, especially with my next 2 attachments. So that's why I had on the 60. Rear grip, I had on quick draw. As I said, you do lose out on your aim down sight speed with the magazine. This kind of brings it back plus more, making it super quick and snappy. And then the stock, I went with the light stock, which grants me another increase in my mobility, this time towards my movement speed and strafing movement speed. So you feel a little bit lighter on your feet, not super slow, which is nice. And then I was gonna say 5th and final. Actually, my 8th and final attachment is what really brings this all together, rapid fire. Oh yeah, this really makes it my favorite weapon with the rapid fire attachment. Makes it shoot quicker, and that just leads to a faster time to kill. You lose out on vertical and horizontal recoil control. We fixed that with the muzzle and underbarrel. And we lose out on bullet velocity and damage range, which once again, we fixed with our barrel that gave us both bullet velocity and damage range since it was the reinforced barrel. So you basically kind of fix it. I'm telling you, you're not finding a better Cipher 09 setup than this. Quickly, let's bring this thing to firing range and you're gonna see, I mean, it is literally a cheat code of a weapon in this game. I absolutely love it so much. If you haven't gotten your hands on this, I feel so bad for you, dude. This is my go-to as of right now. Now, if you want to just do 5 attachments, here is what I recommend taking off. You could probably get away without the stock. You could probably take off the optic and maybe the muzzle if you want. And then if you want to go even further, you could take off quick draw and just put on the red dot again like that. So it's up to you. Again, I prefer the 8. I think that makes the most sense. This does have a lot more kick to it without it, but yeah, I really think the 8 attachment setup is the way to go. So yeah, I recommend just throwing on that OG setup, man. Run it like that. Next loadout. For loadout number 2, we have the AEK 973, which you haven't seen in a top 5 in months, but with the addition of the new attachment, the full auto mod that turns it from a burst to full auto, this is definitely in contention for top 5 and in the meta conversation. I really like this thing. It also unlocks a new attachment, the 5.45 ammo. So again, it turns it full auto. You lose a little bit of damage range and damage. In my opinion, you don't really notice it. So you're gonna want to throw this on. The magazine, here is the 5.45 extended mag, another new attachment that you get specifically when throwing on the full auto mod. It gives you a bigger magazine, so you go from a 30 to a 45. And then this is another gunfighter build, and I think you really need it because these 2 attachments is already taking up 2 spots, so you don't really have much to work with, and there's a lot of kicks for this, so we're gonna need all the recoil control in the world. For starters, couple microflex, we're gonna want an optic on so we can see better, especially at long ranges. For the muzzle, I went went with the ported compensator for the first shot recoil control. So the first shot is significantly more accurate than the rest. And I think that's incredibly beneficial on the AEK. And on top of that, we still get our vertical recoil control that we would normally get out of the compensator. For the barrel, I have on reinforced once again. Just that huge increase in damage range and bullet velocity is a necessity in any long range weapon in the game. For the underbarrel, I had on the vertical foregrip, just like we had on our Cipher. It really is just the best underbarrel in most cases, especially with long range weapons. The strictly horizontal recoil control you can never go wrong with. That deadly combo of the muzzle and underbarrel is just undeniable. We have the quick draw grip, so we can be a little bit more quick and snappy. Specifically in the AEK, the aim down sight speed is atrocious, so you're definitely gonna need that. And then my final attachment is the light stock, just to feel a little bit lighter on my feet. Since this is a marksman rifle, we could easily forget that with the way it looks. It is naturally pretty slow. So throw this on, movement speed, strafing movement speed, can't go wrong with that. And those are my 8 attachments I go with on the AEK with the new attachment that just came out. This is a lot of fun to use, man. If you haven't used this yet, try it out. I mean, seriously, the TTK is not bad whatsoever. The recoil is a little crazy. It'll take you a little bit of time to get used to, but in my opinion, it is actually worth getting used to. It's like a AK-74 with rapid fire. Very good. Straying away from the long range weapons, I do want to give you a close range option, that being the Jackal PDW. I know this isn't every top 5. You're probably sick and tired of it and want new weapons, but I did slightly change my build a little bit, and after all, I just cracked 19,000 kills with the thing. So I use it a lot. It's something I find so much success with. I'd be a fool not to include it for you all to try out. So for starters, I have on the long barrel, which gives me an increase in damage range, making it a little bit stronger and kill faster at longer ranges. For the underbarrel, I've swapped it actually. I used to run the vertical foregrip and I went to the Ranger, which I probably should have been using this whole time. Not too big of a change, but you don't only get horizontal recoil control with this, you also get sprinting movement speed. And dude, I genuinely feel that sprinting movement speed very slightly in my gunfights. It feels very, very good. It just adds a little bit extra mobility that I think is pretty necessary. For the magazine, I have the extended mag 1. This just increases my magazine size so I could take out multiple enemies without having to reload. I could even try the fast mag 1. You do lose what, 4 shots, but the reload speed's a little bit quicker, so you can get away with this, making it even faster. I'll have to experiment with that, but I prefer extended mag 1. For the rear grip, I got ergonomic grip. You get slide to fire speed, and in almost all of my gunfights, I'm always sliding into them, and my weapon's just gonna be up ready after sliding. It's obviously incredibly beneficial to have ergonomic on, and I get aim down sight speed and more quick and snappy with my shots. And then finally, we got balanced stock, which just gives me an overall massive boost to my mobility, making my Jackal even faster, breaking cameras and whatnot. And those are my 5 attachments on my Jackal. Again, pretty much the same stuff I've been using, but I did slightly change it a little bit. The thing's not nerfed. What are we doing? It's like, it's not nerfed. I don't want it to get nerfed because I love it that much. Look at the range on it. So, the best SMG in the game. Sticking with close range options, we have the KSV, which is something I've been using quite a bit, especially recently. The setup is pretty similar to the Jackal, but not quite the exact same. So for starters, the muzzle is a ported compensator. I don't normally use this on SMGs, but for some odd reason, it works incredibly well, specifically on the KSV. It feels like you need it because the recoil pattern's a little odd on it. You get the vertical recoil control like you would normally get out of the compensator, but that first shot recoil control makes the world of a difference on this weapon. For the barrel, I went with the long range. Yeah, this side of range is boo-boo butt. It is not good at all. So I wanted to strictly focus on my damage range, making it as strong as it possibly can be at longer ranges. Next, I increased my magazine size so I could take out multiple enemies without having to reload, that being extended mag 1. I ain't gonna lie, since the flip magazine did get a buff, I've been kind of messing with this too. So for the sake of the video and this being buff, let's throw on the flip magazine. I know it's only 30 shots, but personal preference, I'm gonna do the flip because it's also a great option. For the rear grip, sorry, we have the ergonomic grip, just like we had on our Jackal PDW. This is kind of like a mainstay of an attachment on SMGs. Again, I'm always sliding into my gunfights, especially with SMGs. And then finally, once again, just the balance stock for another increase in mobility. Not too much to say about that. Those are my 5 attachments for the KSV. And let me bring this to the firing range for you guys. Yeah, this has kind of been running crazy in ranked play. People have been complaining about it. So if people are complaining about this, there's definitely a chance that this could take out that PDW if it ever does see a nerf. Again, very, very good option. Keep your eye out on this because if the Jackal PDW does get a nerf, this is probably what you're going to be using. So I don't know, get used to it now. It's a great option. And for our fifth and final weapon, we have the Ames 85. Now, when I'm not recording, I'm kind of hanging out and chilling. There's two weapons I'll use for long range: Cipher, Ames 85. This is a great option no matter what your knowledge is of the game or your skill set. Try this out for yourselves. You'll find success with it. We got the couple microflex. Iron sights are little poo-poo nuggets. It's not all that good, so throw something on so you can see better. For the muzzle, I run the ported compensator on this, which is something I don't normally use on this weapon specifically. I've always used the compensator, but dude, that ported makes a world of a difference. You get vertical recoil control just like you do at a compensator, but that first shot recoil control on the Ames specifically is unreal. You really shouldn't be missing any shots with the ported compensator. Our third attachment we have on the long barrel. I used to run reinforced, but I swapped over to the long barrel because it grants me the most damage range. And I think at a range, it can be a little weaker compared to other ARs. So to keep it up to par, throw on that long barrel. For the underbarrel, I have on the vertical foregrip. It just gives you the most horizontal recoil control, just making it a laser beam. At base, it already is very accurate. Why not make it the most accurate we possibly can? For the magazine size, depending on what you're playing, you know, it really is kind of up to you. If you're playing like Nuketown or 10v10, or you're always in action, the 60 round mag is what you're gonna want to do. That's what I personally run. Maybe if you're on like a derelict 6v6 or some rewind, you don't need no 60. Run the 45 and you could save yourself a tad bit mobility, but I'm always in the action. I'm always kind of playing incredibly aggressive, so the 60 comes in handy to take out multiple enemies that are having to reload. For the rear grip, I went with quick draw. When we head to the firing range and you see how fast you aim down sights with quick draw, you're never gonna want to take this attachment off. For the stock, I went with the light stock. This just gives me, you know, movement speed, strafing movement, makes it feel a little bit lighter, which you can never go wrong with. And then what really brings us together, similar to the Cipher, is the rapid fire attachment. Ever since I've equipped this, I've never taken it off. It is so unreal. Again, all those cons we fixed with previous attachments. So those are the 8 attachments I like to run on my Ames 85. Bring out the firing range, dude. This has rapid fire and it's still this accurate. You don't get this out of most weapons in the game when you put rapid fire. This is what makes it so gross. And even at a range like that, what are we talking about? I love this so much. It's so easy to use. Again, you don't even need to be good at the game whatsoever. You could you bought the game, level up this weapon, and be successful with this. Now, outside of the weapon and the 5 attachments, I do want to give you the rest of the loadout because I think it's equally as important. So real quick, my secondary is the Grakova. I'm not a big fan of the Siren 9mm. I feel like it's just been selling recently, so this is what I use on my Grakova. I always run stim shots because you can regenerate your health after getting hurt instantly. The blast traps are nukes for the ground. They're the best lethal in the entire game. If you want to throw some stuff, do the frags. These are OP as well. And then I add the Scrambler, which works as like a personal counter UAV. These are so annoying to run against. I know they're annoying to run against, so I'm gonna throw them on myself. And then my perks go as following. So for 5 attachment setups where I'm not running Gunfighter as a wild card, I usually do perk greed. This allows me to run Gung Ho so I can run and reload. It just adds a little bit more fluidity to the game. Forward intel, I don't even want to talk about it. I want you guys to throw it on yourselves and just pay attention to your minimap, or go to a different video of mine and then it lasts a few days and go watch the minimap when I have this on. It's super OP and just shows you where enemies are all at. Double time I have on so I can get around the map a little bit quickly. Once Slipstream comes out, I will be primarily running that. And then once again, I have perk greed on and I go with Scavenger so I can replenish ammo, not only for my weapon, but my lethals and tacticals. And then that grants me Enforcer. So when I get kills, I get a buff to my movement speed and health regen, which could save your life quite often. Now, these are the perks I use when my wild card spot is taken up by Gunfighter instead of perk greed. So we can only run 3 perks this time around. I keep Scavenger on, so I took off Gung Ho. I then took off forward intel for Assassin. So if an enemy's on a streak, they show up as a special icon. And then I maintain a double time here. Now, the reason I took off forward intel for Assassin is so I can keep this Enforcer perk. Bro, people be sleeping on Enforcer. I see my comments, some people are like, bro, it's not even all that good. Like, Recon's cool, strategy's great. Bro, you get a buff to your health regen and movement speed. What are you talking about? This keeps you alive so much longer than the other 2 do. And that's what we're going for. So that's why the perks are a little bit different there. But that's grab today's video, man. I hope you guys enjoyed. I feel like I yapped a lot more in this one specifically, but I really want to kind of give you guys a deep dive in my thought process of behind my loadouts and whatnot. But I hope this helped out, man. Let me know in the comments any weapons that you think I missed out on that should have been in this top 5. But that's all I got for y'all today. I'll see you on the next one. You guys all stay safe. Have a great day, and I'm out. Doses.